Welcome to the FC13 podcast. Today we have a very special guest with me, Michael, of course. Andre and Paul cannot be here today because they have lives. But I am more than happy to sit down and talk to a goalie, podcaster, and a beast on Twitter, Niko Giantsopoulos. And please tell me I said that name right.
Yeah, you nailed it. You,
All
you,
right.
you said it the correct Canadian way.
Is there any other way?
I guess Greeks would say Giantsopoulos, so they don't say like Giantsopoulos.
Okay.
We're Canadian.
All right, so let's start with how's your offseason going?
It's going well. It's long. It's very boring. This has to be the longest first division off season in the world. So after like 2 months go by, you're just, I don't know. For me, I'm bored. Once Christmas finishes, all I'm thinking about is the season. So it's been long, but it's good to get back with the boys a little bit now.
Yeah, those are sucks because you see Mexico starting up now. You have Champions League coming soon, the MLS, and we still just have to wait on that back burner.
Exactly. But you guys as fans, but us as players as well, we see all of our friends that are playing in the MLS, Europe, all these places, and they get to play soccer, and then I'm still at home walking my dog, waiting to get a call that training camp starts.
Do you ever consider taking like loans for the off season?
Every off season that I've been in the CPL, that's kind of been my goal. COVID made that extremely difficult. The first year, I probably wasn't established enough to get a good enough move. And then this off season would have been my best chance. But basically, the whole off season, I was recovering from, kind of a little tweaked ankle. So it's in the cards. Hopefully next year.
You yourself, though, you used to play overseas, Australia, right?
Yep.
So when you were over there, tell us about the difference between Australia and Canada. And when you were over there, were you keeping an eye on the CPL news? And when the league started, you're like, I got to get over there?
Yeah, definitely. I finished my college career in 2016, 2015, December 2015. And then my first year in Australia was March 2016 is when it started. And the goal was, go to Australia for this 1 year because next year, 2017, the CPL is going to begin. So I was like, all right, cool. Finished that year. CPL wasn't a thing. So I went back to Australia and it's like, oh, for sure after this second year, like CPL will be a thing. Finished that year. CPL still wasn't a thing. Went back one more year. And then probably like 3/4 way of that season, I get word that CPL is going to be a thing. Finally, it's not a myth. And then I got connected out in Calgary, and that's kind of how it all started about.
So when you're from Markham, right?
Markham.
Sorry, my bad.
No. You said it right.
Oh, I did. Okay. You started off at Calgary. Was it when York came to you with an offer? You're like, I gotta go there, obviously.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, more or less. I mean,
yeah.
I was a free agent at the end. I had a 2-year contract at Cavs. I ran that out, and at the end of the year, Cavs were really happy with me, and they wanted to bring me back. But Marco was also coming back, Marco Carducci. We had a great relationship, and basically all I told Tommy was I would just like to see what free agency would look like for me, and see if there's any offers out there. And legit, after I told Tommy that, it was less than 48 hours that Angus got a hold of me, and we spoke about it. And then, listen, they told me they wanted me to be the number one. I'm from the area. It just made sense. I spoke to a couple of other CPL clubs, maybe a couple of clubs outside of the CPL as well, but it didn't take too much convincing. I was going to come home.
So we decided to reach out to Twitter and get some questions. So
perfect.
The first question comes from Juan. He's a York fan. Comes on Twitter.
Yep. Coach Juan.
Oh, he's familiar. Look, what made you want to do radio? And what was the process like to get involved with TSN?
I think, to be honest, it all really got started that second year in the CPL when COVID happened. And me and Sergio Camargo, who was teammates, and he's my best friend out in Calgary, we started doing some like videos, a little bit of skits. I mean, we used to make videos and skits when we were like friends and buddies in like elementary school. And then this whole COVID fiasco happened. We had way too much time on our hands. When I came to York, basically right off the bat, their media guy, Owen, pitched me an idea of having an all goalkeeper podcast. I learned a lot. Like I became like a podcast host, but I had no idea how to be a podcast host. I didn't really listen to podcasts, but I was talking to goalkeepers. It seemed easy enough. I also had an interview with one of the Bachelor guys, Juan Pablo. He was actually like the Bachelor on the famous
the
TV
show.
show. And then it wasn't until last year that a TSN producer reached out to me and basically said, "Hey, I'm trying to pitch this show idea for TSN. Obviously, the World Cup's coming up. They don't really have a lot of soccer content on their channel. So they asked me if I wanted to be a guest on their pilot episode that they're pitching to the TSN executives." And my response to this is Nick McVicker, who's now my co-host. My response to him was, "I'll only be a guest on the pilot when I retire, that I have a spot as a host on the show."
Beauty.
And he goes, "Screw that." He goes, "Why don't you be the host now? And why don't we go on this together?" And I go, "Let's do it." Perfect. So we got Nick Ledgerwood. I made a call. We got Nick Ledge. He was the guest on our pilot episode. We pitched it to TSN, and then they like it. And that's kind of how Footy First was born. And we started in March, and now we're TSN's #1 soccer podcast.
It's great to see. Again, it's always great to see when players get involved in all different ways, because especially in the community too, because you play there, you're playing for the fans.
I'm from here.
Oh, exactly.
Like I can't feel any more connected to this club than the way I do. Like, talk about grassroots soccer. Like, I started 7 years old playing like rep CSL, YSL soccer, and now I'm playing for the professional club in York Region. So full circle.
So I guess, have you done any collabs with Jordan Wilson? I know he's big on One Soccer. You guys talk about anything? Or is there a little bit of a media rivalry there?
No media rivalry whatsoever. He's actually come on our TSN show a decent amount. He's a great person, but he's also very talented in the media personality. I think now CPL fans are seeing that. And now that he's retired, I wouldn't be surprised if we see him popping on a lot more media shows in the future. He's the perfect guy for it.
Next question would go with RSG from Twitter as well. What do you think of the team going into next year? And we'll add another question in there from Paul, another host on the show. Especially, how do you feel about the team, but especially with the back line? You'll have a whole new back line. You got Absy, you got Louis Tatar, Wilson's gone, Ensa's gone. And as yourself, do you feel like you're more responsible for leading that back line with 4 new guys basically there for you?
Well, I think you got to think that we have Paris G, who came in the second half of our season. He was our right back, and his experience in this league, but I'm familiar with him as well. So he's coming back. So that's a familiar guy that is looking like he's going to be the replacement for Chris Ensa. So he's familiar, and we've worked well together. As well, Taz Murtakudis, the Greek Australian that came in halfway through the season. He's also coming back, and he's a center back. I'm actually going to be living with him this year, and we got a good connection as well. So we'll be leaning on each other definitely to lead that back line. But there hasn't been any decision made on Roger Thompson as well. This is a guy, when healthy, is one of the best center backs in the league.
Yeah, so I think we saw that last year for sure.
100%. And if we are able to get him back and get him healthy and he's able to get a good run of games, we have tons of confidence on him being able to perform. So just those 3 names alone, I think we're going to have new signings also coming in to add to this defensive depth. But I think that might be a bit of a misconception with York right now, that we got to build our entire back line, but that's not necessarily the case. We have plenty of familiarity, and we did a big rebuild in the middle of last year. So some of the new pieces that are coming at the beginning of this year, we have some familiarity. So we get one or two more pieces, and we're looking solid. But as for me, I feel comfortable with our back line, and to be honest, I have full trust in our management to set a good team in front of me, and we'll get to work when preseason starts, and there's no real stress at this point.
That's good. And I'm sorry. That's good. And it's good that you have the confidence. And like I was saying to you before we started, I'm a big fan of York's moves right now. And then you also have players like Babuli coming into next season as well.
Our offense is next level right now. I look at it and I'm just like very dynamic.
I almost look at you guys. As like what Ottawa did last year. Almost, you keep a couple pieces, but almost a whole new core. But the ones that you're keeping and some of the ones you're bringing in is just some of the best we've seen in the CPL, like La Perriere. or keeping players like DeRozio for another 2 years. Like that's something special
and
right there.
and we stole your boy out in Ottawa. We took Brian right now.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, and he was clutch for us. He was arguably one of our leading guys last year. When healthy,
he was a pain. He was a pain in our ass. He scored like 4 goals against us, I think.
Yeah, that's true. Next question comes from Thomas Hewitt. What's your relationship with Elias Humans? And did you play a role in his when he was injured? Like, did you play a role in helping him recover, be a part of that procedure, or?
I don't want to speak too much on that because I think it's almost a better question for him to answer. Right? It's easy for the number one to talk about, oh, we got a good relationship with my number 2 goalie. But he might be saying, like, I fucking hate Niko and he's a big dick and I don't learn anything from him. But for me, I think we got a good relationship. I enjoy working with him. I think we could push each other to be better. But I would love for you guys to get him on the podcast and ask him the same question and see if the feelings are mutual.
Sounds good. I'll send that message as soon as we're done. Next question from Fort McMurray. Do you have a favorite away day city? For a reason other than food or that type of stuff, fan sport, whatever.
Yeah, I will always. If you take away fans and everything, I would have to say I love playing in Calgary. Okay. Obviously, I played there. I love Tommy Wheeldon as a coach. He's super competitive. So I like competing against people that are very competitive. I know they're going to give everything to them. So we got to go up against each other twice this year, and it was great battles. And those are some of my that's my favorite team to play against.
That's awesome. And another question coming from Andre, our other host: is there anything that's hard about being a goalie that people get wrong? And also, we'll put a second one in there. What's the most annoying thing that defenders do that annoy you?
Cause penalties.
Yeah.
I think sometimes when you're on a really good team and you're not really in the mix and involved with the play a lot, and then you kind of have to, in the 60th minute, you got to face like a big shot or something like that. Sometimes to stay engaged while not actually being engaged in the play is the most difficult part of goalkeeping. That's why they always say, goalkeepers get better as they get older, because in my opinion, it's so much about experience and kind of staying focused in a game. And for someone that's just never really played goalkeeper or played, sports at a high level, it's kind of hard to understand that concept. How hard is it to focus? But when there's tons of stuff going on, there's people screaming and yelling at you, and basically you have to be perfect in the position of goalkeeping. You have to be 100% focused to try to be as perfect as you can be. So that's got to be the most difficult part of goalkeeping that people just might not understand.
That's fair. We're going to take a quick break for ads, and we'll be right back to get into some interesting stuff with you, and also throw some fun questions at you. So don't go away. We'll be right back.
Hi, everyone. Paul here to talk to you about our fantastic brand new sponsor that we have on the podcast, Manscaped.
Fellas, are you tired of having unsatisfying and, quite frankly, painful results downstairs when shaving? I know that I sure am.
Well, now is the time to get yourself acquainted with Manscaped's latest and greatest product to date, the Lawnmower 4.0.
The Lawnmower 4.0 is part of the brand new performance package, and it's full of many amazing products as well as your Lawnmower 4.0. It comes with a crop preserver, the crop reviver, a brand new pair of underwear, and a charging kit. The Manscaped 4.0 performance package also comes with this quick handy user guide, and if that's not all, it also comes with a quick start guide giving you a quick rundown on how to set up and what to do when shaving downstairs. The Lawnmower 4.0 is the most advanced Manscaped trimmer to date. 4 different lengths, replaceable skin-safe blade, 400k LED spotlight, multi-function on or on switch, portable charger, water resistant, and as you can even see, you can put different size blades on it for those who appreciate a close shave and those who appreciate something a little bit further away. Manscaped also offers a range of many more fantastic products such as the crop mop, crop cleanser, foot duster, refined cologne, and the Plow 2.0.
So what are you waiting for? Head on over to manscaped.com today and use our very own special code FC13 to get 20% off your first order with free shipping. Go on, your balls will thank you.
Welcome back. Sitting here with Niko Giantsopoulos, and we're getting into some juicy stuff. We got a couple questions about the next thing. One from David Kiesman, as well as my brother, Brandon. Wanted to know about your experience in the loan to Vancouver. How did that happen? Not so much in a rude way, but why you? And I think the way that comes across is Callum Irving is closer in the area. I mean, you totally deserve it. I'm not taking that away from you. It's a great experience. But I think there was a couple question marks on, because we knew it was only like a 2-game loan.
Yeah.
So we'll start with how did it happen? Because correct me if I'm wrong. This also happened around this the Canadian Championship time when you were already out in the area, right? So
Correct. Yeah.
okay, so yeah, let's start with that. How did it happen? And yeah,
I'll kind of paint the picture for you. I've told this story a lot, so I'm really good at telling the story. We're actually in Victoria for a total of 5 days because we play them in the league.
Yeah.
And then 3 days later, we play them in the cup.
Yeah.
So we play them Friday evening in Victoria. That afternoon, so let's just say 2:00 Friday, me and Dominic Zator were in the team hotel and we're going to take a nap. And like legit, as Zats is about to like put his phone away, he goes, "Oh, that's crazy! Like Whitecaps have no keeper. Like everyone has COVID out there." And he like kind of throws his phone on my bed, and I look at him like, "Oh, it's like pretty crazy." I'm like, and I just take my phone and then I text Angus, send him that tweet, and I go, "Whitecaps loan, like they need a keeper." And then I put my phone down and I go to bed. That's it. Kind of like a ha thing. That's it. My phone starts ringing and it's Angus. And I go like, "Hello." And he goes, "Hey, like this Whitecaps thing like might happen. Just like hypothetically, what jersey would you want?" I was like, "Okay." "What jersey number would you want?"
right.
I give him a number. Didn't care what jersey. I would have wore 69 if I got a chance if I can play for the Whitecaps. So didn't care. I gave him a jersey number. Then we go, honestly, within an hour and a half, 2 hours, he's basically telling me like, "Listen, it's going to go through and we're going to sort out details, but I need you to just like sign this loan contract and focus on our game." Because it was a big game. We're like, Pacific at the time was in first place. So it was like, I was really worried about York. It was a cool thing that was happening, but the main thing was playing this game on Friday. So anyways, I signed the contract at like 3:30 and we have our team meal. And Nashi and our coach kind of know about it, but no one else knows about it on the team. And we didn't really want to tell anyone because we just, again, big game on Friday. Sats knew, but then we go. So that's kind of how it first came about.
Were you hoping to get in there, or were you expecting to get in there, or did you know the plan going forward?
I didn't know the plan. I was willing and I was very open to it. I was like, "Listen, whatever capacity you guys want from me, I will do. You guys sign me, I'm going to do whatever job you guys want. It's not up to me to make that decision." I told them I'm 100% prepared to play. And, flying there, I was telling the GM and stuff like, "If you need me to play, I'm ready. There's no stress and all that." But they told me I wasn't going to play, and that was the decision. And that's the way it was. I'm a professional player. You just got to do your job, and you don't make those decisions. And that's how it was. And I did my 36-hour job with Vancouver Whitecaps, and then I went right back to business with York, and that was my mentality. Did I want to play? Yeah, sure. Was I hoping I was going to play? Yeah, sure. But that's soccer. It's not how it went. And I felt like I did my best job at being a number 2 for Whitecaps on that day.
Yeah, that's fair. And do you think with spots like Champions League coming up that would attract more players, or do you think that's going to take some time?
To CPL?
Yeah.
100%. I think whichever team qualifies for those Champions League spots going into next year, I think that's going to be a huge recruiting tool for those clubs to get bigger players in and maybe push them over the line if they're a bit undecided whether they want to come to Canada or not. So I know a lot of the players in the league now, that's what we're thinking about is those Champions League spots that are on the line. And it's just that little bit, much more that we're playing for besides just a trophy and a little bit of cash money. Please.
First question comes from Namu. How do you cool off after laying out all those? Oh my lord, I am so sorry. How do you cool off after laying out all those burns on your teammates on the Twitterverse?
Yeah, how do I cool off? Right now, you go walk my dog. It's that fucking cold outside that that's the quickest way to cool off in Canada right now.
Oh, that's true, eh? You getting the snow right now?
No, we got no snow, but it's just that like cold, wet slush that we
The
get
fun
here in
stuff, yeah.
Ontario.
What type of dog do
gray
you have?
skies. What's that?
What type
I
of
got a
dog?
boxer bulldog.
Ooh,
It's known as the Valley Bulldog. His name is Howie.
sounds awesome. I like that. Howie, after Howie Mandel.
Howie.
Oh, Howie.
Yeah, Howie. No, Howie. Howie Mandel.
Oh, Howie. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. This question comes from Brian Campbell on Twitter. Can you rap or freestyle? And if so, can you give me a bit of a sample?
I can't, but my Ajax team that I used to put my youth team growing up, we had some of the best youth soccer freestyle rappers in the game. I'm going to give them shout outs. You got Keyshawn, you got Jordan Dover. Jay Chapman would sometimes come in with some bars out there.
Jay Chapman?
Jay Chapman, yeah, as well. So I never jumped in the mix. I was a bit too rhythmically challenged, I would say. We'll go with that. But I really enjoy freestyle rap, and those were some of the funnier moments from my youth career.
Are you a fan of pineapple on your pizza?
Yeah, I like Hawaiian pizza.
You do?
Some sweet. Yep.
All right, that might change my decision on bringing you back or not, but you know.
Paul, sorry about that.
If you were to open up a CPL club anywhere, where would it be, and what would you name them?
Move York to Markham and the Markham Giants. Owner, founder Niko Giantsopoulos. I feel like.
Other than yourself, who has the best mustache in the league?
Mustaches. Marco. When we played Marco had a mustache. One of the games, so it was like mustache against mustache, and I've never known him to have a mustache. That's the only guy right now that I'm thinking of that has a mustache in the league. So I'll give it to Ducci.
Yeah. I think Ollie Bassett should grow one.
Oh, a red one.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. That'd be crazy. If he had the season that he had last year while having a solid red mustache, holy cow, that guy would have been everywhere.
I think he'd be
a marketer's like dream. It would have been
exactly,
surely.
So his agent's got to be talking to him like, look, you want to get bigger moves, you can't grow the mustache. But to be fair, League MX is pretty massive. Good for him. That trial, I think this is my last question, and it's one I'd love to hear. What is the best chirp someone's ever given you?
This is actually a funny story. So it didn't happen in CPL, unfortunately. And I got plenty, so I could go through a number of chirps. But the funniest story that I have goes back to Australia. And my college roommate, Iski Van Dorn, I'll give him a shout out. We 4 years together in college, so we're basically like very close friends. My next best friend. And we were joking always, and the biggest like digs when we would get into each other would chirp my legs and you got chicken legs and stuff like that, right? So, anyways, fast forward 3 years later, I'm playing in Australia, and he's actually playing now in the same league as me, but on opposing teams. He is not playing in this game for whatever reason. I think he's injured. But he's doing the same thing similar to I was. He's in his fans section behind my goal. So he tells them to start chirping me about my legs. So they're all yelling like every single time I have a goal kick, like chicken legs, chicken legs, chicken legs. And it was just like really like made me laugh. And it probably threw me off a little bit only because it brought me back like fucking Iski tells them these like inside stories and stuff like that, and they're having a go at that. So it's not an overly creative diss.
You want to know my best chirp that I gave a goalie? I was in a Ottawa Fury against Tampa Bay Rowdies. Joe Cole was the manager of the game, but at the time the sports section was right behind the net. So we're literally like I could like literally almost reach out and touch the goalie if I wanted to. So I'm standing there in the crowd. I can't remember who it was. I can't remember his name. I'm just like, hey, do you have any nudes of your girlfriend? And he's like, obviously signing. I'm like, do you want some? I was hoping to get a good reaction out of him. I hope he remembers that.
See, that's a bit like X-rated, a bit like off the cusp. Like I would like that. Like,
Yeah.
I'm getting like, you suck.
Oh, okay. So you want creativity? That's what you want.
I want, like, I won't take anything personally. Like, try it for 90 minutes. Now, if you continue it once the final whistle goes, then I'll have some issues. But in the 90 minutes, say whatever you want. Nothing, everyone has a threshold that society shouldn't cross. Yeah. But everything under that, have a go.
There's a mutual agreement of lines you don't cross.
Of course, and I think that needs to be stated, obviously. But other than that, have a go. I'll give you permission to say, within reason, whatever you want towards me. And probably if you'll see me smirking, and if you see me smirking, just know I heard it.
I play Football Manager. I need to know who to go get,
Who's the biggest player on your team then? Most expensive?
Most expensive? Who the hell was it? I think I paid $150K for Michael Picasso.
Oh, what a stud.
Love that guy.
Clip this and send that to him. That'll put a smile on his face.
Do you play any video games? I know you said no Football Manager, but are you a fan of FIFA or anything?
It's funny you say that. I've been on Facebook Marketplace, lowballing kids for probably the last 3 weeks to get a PS4 because I have this vision in my head that during preseason I'm going to just relax, recover, and just play NBA 2K in my room. So if someone's going to accept my $200 offer on Facebook Marketplace for a PlayStation 4 with a controller, by all means, someone accept my bid. I have about 5 or 6 offers out there, and they ask me what I'm offering. I say $200, and no one's accepted it. So hopefully one of these days, before preseason Feb 6 starts, I have a PlayStation.
And again, thank you so much, Niko. Best of luck in the season. Best of luck on your radio, and hopefully, I'd like to have you back on. You're a lot of fun here.
Yeah, hopefully. Listen, if you enjoyed my time, maybe in the middle of this season, or if I do anything, then you can have me back on. We can talk about it.
Say what your socials are, your podcast, your TSN radio stuff, and
yeah, my socials, Niko Giantsopoulos, Nikolaos, Giants is where you can find me. I'm on Twitter, all that. But definitely, if you want to listen, I think this podcast is great because it's hosted by fans of the game, and it's a cool concept. I think what our show is trying to do, it's a player myself. So I'm giving a player's perspective of the game, but Nick McVicker, the host, is very much a fan, similar to you guys. So it's like a fan and a player talking about Canadian soccer, and the show's called Footy First, TSN 1050, every Saturdays at 10 a.m. But we podcast all of our shows on Apple Music, Spotify, iHeartRadio. So give it a listen if you want to. It's the Footy First show. And we're also on Twitter, on Instagram, posting all that stuff. But yeah, that's all the shout-outs I'll give.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on. And everyone who's listening to this, if you're not already following us on Twitter, go ahead and do that. And next time, your questions may be read on the podcast. I want to thank you, everyone who did submit questions. You have a good one. Thank you so much.
You too, pal. Take it easy.